Tomorrow, 3rd of May, is World Press Freedom Day, and with Team Assange Sydney, we are here basically just to remind you what it all means. Why is it that we celebrate this day, and why is it so important for us Australians? And I'll just use a motion that was passed in the UK Parliament last year as a reminder. And this is what that motion said about Julian Assange. It said that we appreciate that World Press Freedom Day is intended to honor the excellent work and risks that journalists take throughout the world. That we know that Julian Assange is an internationally renowned journalist and that he has completed 5 years imprisonment in a maximum security jail in the UK. We also recognize that Julian faces extradition to the USA under the Espionage Act for publishing accurate, true records confirming the commission of US war crimes in Iraq and Afghanistan. We know that the treatment of this Australian journalist jeopardizes the freedom of all journalists to go about their work unhindered by state interference, and that his extradition criminalizes invaluable journalism that is in the public interest. And we call on the UK courts and the UK Home Secretary to reject Julian's extradition on this important date. It would be an invaluable symbolic act, and it will be well regarded by the international community to end these disgraceful and sham extradition proceedings against Julian on a day like tomorrow.
Okay, we're here today to protest the incarceration of Julian Assange and to demand his freedom. This is ordinary people doing what ordinary people ought to be doing, and that is to acknowledge that we live in a world where to speak the truth is a dangerous thing, and that the powers that be don't like it at all, and it's necessary for ordinary people to stand up and say, no, that's not good enough.
Pure and simply, honesty in journalism is finished. They are just repeating whatever they're told to say. Assange actually went out and scrutinised these people and saw what they were up to and couldn't believe what they were doing, and they were causing a lot of, like right now, wars, death, murder, like craziness. And the world's going to suffer for it. They're just suffering for Assange's imprisonment. They don't know the truth. They're listening to all the lies now, and they just can't, they're entwined with a system that doesn't care about them. It only cares about the top few. And Assange was one of the few that actually talked about that and made it clear and spread the message and made it obvious, gave proof about what they were up to, and there he goes. He went down, they got him, and they got him in jail.
We're here on the eve of World Press Freedom Day in support of Julian Assange. He's been locked up in high security Belmarsh prison in London for more than 5 years. He hasn't been charged with a crime in the UK. He needs to be freed. He's a very sick man. So we ask all Australians to support their fellow Walkley Award-winning Australian, Julian Assange. Contact your local MP, speak to your friends. We need to support Julian so that we have transparency in government and that our government can be held accountable should they need to be. Thank you.
As we celebrate World Press Freedom Day, we reaffirm our commitment to safeguarding this fundamental human right. Julian Assange did exactly this. He challenged the power structure and exposed hidden and ghoulish war crimes committed by various governments in Iraq, Afghanistan. Through WikiLeaks, Assange gave birth to a new era of investigative journalism.
Today is Julian Assange, a journalist, acclaimed Australian, a publisher who permitted many other journalists to do their work in a secure manner by providing a service called WikiLeaks, and so that they could actually provide information in a confidential manner, and that information, which is in the public interest, could be shared with us so that we could make decisions about our lives, about our agencies, and we could determine whether X, Y, or Z was really speaking the truth and also representing our interest. And so that is what this day is about. We ask you that you sign a petition addressed to Ambassador Kennedy, and in that petition we ask that they do everything necessary to end the extradition of Julian Assange, this acclaimed journalist. Our government agrees, by the way. There's been a motion passed in our federal parliament with more than 2/3 approval from all sides of politics, asking the US government to end the extradition request. So we are not doing anything unusual. In fact, we are here in a way representing what our government wants and what 80% of Australians want. We want Julian Assange to be released from prison and to be permitted to live a life, a normal life with his family. He has committed no crime. The only thing that you could accuse Julian Assange of is of being an excellent journalist. Thank you.